So joining us to go over the significance of Harris's pick and the next step in the presidential race is Dr. Nolan Higdon, CSU East Bay lecturer in history and media studies. Good morning.
And thank you so
Morning.
much for joining us, Dr. Higdon. So let's dive right in. Obviously, we're learning more and more about Tim Walz this morning. He checks off a lot of boxes, his experience, his leadership, and, just where he comes from. Why do you think, what was the biggest reason why Harris made this choice? Because some say it's a safe choice and some felt like he was a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, good morning to you and all the viewers. Yeah, I think there's two major reasons why Walz ended up getting chosen by Vice President Harris to be the vice presidential nominee. I think one is they saw him as someone who could message to those Midwestern voters, in particular those voters who the Democrats may have lost to Trump. I think that was critically important. But also, let's not forget, prior to all the coverage of Biden dropping out, there was a huge division within the Democratic Party. We saw a lot of these so-called uncommitted voters in the primary, and a lot of those folks were in Minnesota. And Minnesota has 19 electoral votes. So this might also be a pick that unites the party, as folks like Bernie Sanders were advocating for Walz before endorsing Vice President Harris.
Well, we also understand Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi didn't come out for Walz, but she also said she'd like a former person who knows the legislative branch. So he has legislative experience. He has executive experience. What do you think that will bring to the debate stage? Because we know now he is going to end up debating JD Vance.
Yeah, I think Democrats were anticipating that Republicans were going to attack Harris for lack of experience and both in the legislative, even though she had some time in the Senate. So I think this is a way to counter those attacks before they even begin, to say, here's a person who has executive experience, who has legislative experience. Also, Tim Walz was very active in veteran affairs, which is a key constituent group that Democrats are aiming for as well. So I think he was chosen not only for the fact he has that experience, but what he did with that experience, both in the legislative and executive branches.
And he's also former military as well. So as they get ready to hit the campaign trail, what are they tackling first? What are they going to focus on? Reproductive rights? Are they going to focus a lot on the economy and kind of address that in what we've seen the last couple of days?
Yeah, it does seem you see in some of Harris's ads that she is focused on a kind of slightly more populist economic message than we may have gotten from the Biden campaign. And I think Walz will fit well into that message. I think they're certainly going to hit reproductive rights. We've seen that reproductive rights has turned out a lot of voters for the Democratic Party since 2022. And I imagine they want to continue that into 2024. And they see Governor Walz as someone who's been very effective in messaging on reproductive rights.
Yeah, it's been reported this morning widely that he and his wife are parents because of IVF therapy, so that will be fascinating as well. Let's talk about the one she didn't choose. Why do you think she didn't choose Mr. Shapiro, the governor? Why not Pete Buttigieg? Why some of these other candidates? Why do you think that they did not make the choice?
It's tough to say, but I think Walz, basically over the last couple of weeks, all of these people who've been rumored to be up for the vice presidential pick have basically been out there trying to show their skills. And I think Walz really showed that he was an effective messenger. He came up with the weird label for Donald Trump, which Democrats have been trying to stick a label that works for Trump for the last 8 years. So Walz did it, very quickly there with this weird label that seems to have picked up. So I think they saw him as an effective messenger. I think they saw him as someone who brings a lot of strength to the ticket. And as a result, those attributes outweighed his value over the other candidates.
And it's kind of interesting with that comment he made. It really kind of put him more in the conversation within the last week. And of course, so much more is going to play out within the next couple of weeks. Dr. Nolan Higdon, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.